It's the beginning of a brand new month, so you know what that means. We're going to take a look back at the month of June in 2024, and everything that I watched during that month, I'm going to rank it from worst to best. I watched 40 movies, so let's just not waste any more time, and let's get right to it. Coming in at last place at number 40 is All My Friends Hate Me. This movie blows. It is the most annoying thing I think I have ever watched. It is this dude going to a birthday party being thrown by his friends, and his friends just lie to him the whole entire time to set up one big surprise at the end. There are a lot of tricks being played, and in the end, I mean, I guess you could call it somewhat clever. And what our main character reveals at the end is pretty shocking, but it's just, halfway through, I was like, yeah, no, I'm already sick and tired of this, but I always try to watch a movie all the way through. Georgina Campbell is in it, and that is the only plus I could give it. Love Georgina Campbell. Everybody in this movie sucks. All of my friends hate me. This movie, I am actually mad. At number 39, we have Evangelion 1.0, You Are Not Alone. Now, even though this movie is at the bottom of the list, I would not say that it is a bad movie. Just within the first 30 minutes, I could not have the strength to care about it. I was bored. My friend put it on and he wanted to watch it with me, and I'm like, sure, dude. And I watched, to be a good homie, I was like, yeah, I'll watch. I'm sure that there's a big fan base for Evangelion out there. I hear a lot of people talk about the movie series. There's probably like 10, 20 movies, I think. It wasn't bad, but I just could not get into it, and I was bored within the first, chunk of the movie. At number 38, we have Destroy All Neighbors. The effects and the makeup and everything is really cool. A weak main character that I couldn't really, root for. Annoying things happening to him, like the main dude that he has beef with in this movie is so annoying. There's I think he has some kind of Russian accent that just gets super tiring. I don't know if the actor or whoever was voicing was actually Russian or whatever he was supposed to be, but I couldn't take it, man. This movie, I really wanted to like it too. I saw a trailer for it. It looked really fun. The effects are really cool. They're really cool. That is the only reason this isn't dead last. Another movie I just couldn't really care much about. It kind of more annoyed me than anything else, but it wasn't the worst. At number 37, we have Pumpkinhead. Now, Pumpkinhead himself, or itself, the creature, every scene that the creature is in, it's cool stuff. Everything else, on the other hand, just isn't great. And even though I like the creature, the kills, there's one cool kill in there, which a horror movie isn't good based on how good the kills are, but I like seeing some cool ass things going down, but just nothing really interesting happens here. Every scene with the creature is nice, just everything else is just, I could do without. I'm pretty sure people consider this a cult classic. I'm happy you like it, just wasn't for me. At number 36, we have Sympathy for the Devil. I thought this movie would be better. I knew nothing about it going into it, but once I kind of got the premise of Nick Cage kind of hijacking this dude, demanding him to drive him places. Nick Cage has this New York accent. He has red hair, and he is an absolute maniac. And he's hit or miss in this movie. Sometimes he's really funny. Sometimes it's just okay, kind of, you're being a bit too much, but it is Nick Cage. I mean, anything he's in, I'm gonna kind of eat up a little bit. But this was just alright. There's a twist at the end, and usually when a big reveal happens at the end of your movie, I'm supposed to be super whoa, that just happened. But when the twist came, I was like, okay, cool. This one might surprise you. Number 35, we have American Psycho. Now, people adore this movie. There's a bunch of memes about this movie. The performance from Christian Bale himself, fantastic. The whole narration, being such a tight-ass businessman, cocky, toxic masculinity, whatever words you want to throw in there. He is a psycho. He's going crazy. And, but this movie's just kind of nothing, man. It's just kind of nothing. It's interesting to watch. When the movie ended, I was just kind of staring blankly at my TV, being like, that was it? Oh, okay, that was fine. So while I do understand the hype for American Psycho, just really the only thing I enjoyed a lot was the performance, and honestly, that's pretty much it. At number 34, we have Watcher. Watcher is just another kind of alright movie. It's very slow, but it's supposed to build tension. This girl moves to a foreign country with her husband, I think, and they have this apartment, and there's this dude across the street just constantly watching her. It's called Watcher, and the tension's cool, but the only thing I really enjoyed about this movie were honestly the last 20 minutes when she confronts the guy she thinks has been watching her. Just the whole end bit, really cool stuff. It's just everything else was just okay. Nothing to go crazy over. Nice tension building. Super slow movies can be hit or miss, and this one wasn't a total miss, but I wasn't really into it. At number 33, we have Blackberry. This is the story, probably a little exaggerated, of the rise and fall of Blackberry. Just want to say Glenn Howerton as like this evil businessman dude, super like he's yelling all the time. He does great. He does absolutely amazing. I think everybody actually does a pretty good job in this movie. It's just one of those movies where it's a nice watch, one and done. The rewatchability for me personally isn't super high, but the performances were good, and there were some funny moments in there. I was interested for the most part. There were a couple moments where I sort of dipped out and kind of checked my phone, but overall I'd say this is really solid. But a big thing for me is rewatchability, and this is kind of just like a one and done, like, glad I saw it, but you know, not too high on it. At number 32, maybe another shocking one, we have Whiplash. People love Whiplash. It was on my watch list for the longest of times, and I finally got around to watching it. It's actually free on YouTube with ads right now, so if you want to check it out yourself, go watch Whiplash. I would recommend it. It is a good movie. You can definitely call it a good movie. It's just, I guess part of the reason was I felt like it was overhyped. Again, like Blackberry and American Psycho, the performances, great. J.K. Simmons, I hate that man in this movie. I love the actor, but oh my god, I hate him. Everything is structured fairly well. It's kind of a good story, I guess. But honestly, my main takeaway, which don't get mad at me, I know this is like about jazz and like drumming, the end result where he's beating the hell out of that drum and he's like nailing the solo or whatever. Me personally, I wouldn't want to listen to that. Like, he worked that hard the whole movie to do that little thing at the end, and it kind of sounded ass. Impressive, yeah, I'll give you that, but I wouldn't want to listen to that. Like, I can acknowledge it was kind of impressive, but you work that hard, you make your fingers bleed, you go through like an emotional breakdown, even get into a car wreck just for that. Which that's obviously just a personal thing at the end of the day. Whiplash, while good, I feel like it underdelivered, but again, that's just a me thing. At number 31, we have Victor Crowley, the fourth movie in the Hatchet franchise that I just ranked in the last video. And Victor Crowley, while not terrible, the weakest in that franchise. It didn't have that Hatchet charm to it, but since the days have gone by since I last watched it, it actually has kind of grown on me a little bit. I would still rank it last place, but you know, the gore is there. Victor is, you know, walking around. Interesting situation. I dive into it in more detail in the video, so go check that out. But yeah, Victor Crowley, solid, but nothing too impressive. At number 30, we have Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. This is a very good sort of like breaking the fourth wall kind of movie where this film crew, they're recording a documentary, I guess, on this man who is trying to become like the next big serial killer, like, you know, a Jason or a Michael Myers, trying to become this next big horror icon. And it's very interesting. Some parts it does lose me. I kind of wanted this to be better, but it was still very, very solid. Nothing I would say I disliked at all. Just, it kind of lost me towards the end, but the final stretch where it's revealed that he is like twisting his plans around to involve the film crew after they try to be like, oh no, we gotta save the guys he's planning on killing. From there, it's awesome. Pretty cool stuff. Just a bit of like the middle portion. I wouldn't say it drags, but there are some definite like low points, but it picks back up. So I'm kind of like in the middle. I'm not entirely sure how I truly feel about it just yet. And if I rewatch it, I'm confident that I'll probably like it a little bit more. At number 29, we have Uncut Gems, another movie I recently did a video on. I watched it for the first time. Adam Sandler does really great in this. There's a lot of like scummy things happening, you know, money being owed, big gambling risks being taken, and I would definitely say this is a very good movie. But for me personally, I wasn't as into it as much as I thought I would have been. I still liked it a good amount, but just like for a couple other movies on this list, it's more of like a watch one time, don't think I'll ever go back and rewatch it. But on the bright side, the more time that has gone by since watching it, it's sort of grown on me just like some of the other movies on this list. At number 28, we have Hatchet 2, solid sequel to the first Hatchet movie. In my Hatchet ranking video, I did say that this had a lot of good stuff in it, but I also was comparing it to the first Hatchet movie. It didn't feel as impactful, or some of the kills didn't feel as iconic and important, I guess, if that's the best way to put it. But I still think this is a pretty fun movie. I definitely would recommend you go check it out if you love cool kills and, you know, a lot of cool gore and practical effects. It's pretty simple, but it does what it needs to do. At number 27, we have Kung Fu Panda 4. A lot of people are saying this is the weakest entry into the Kung Fu Panda franchise, and while I agree, it's still a decent time. I don't really have anything bad to say about it. Just not as strong as the others, but still good. At number 26, we have The Royal Tenenbaums. Now, this movie is a little low because of two reasons. Reason number one being that I sort of forgotten a lot about this movie. I watched it at the very start of the month. And reason number two is that I had a very bad nosebleed while watching it, and I didn't pause it. I kept going to the bathroom and grabbing tissues, you know, stuffing my nose up. worrying about my nosebleed, so I was still watching and I had a decent time watching it. Honestly, pretty emotional towards the end, but really the strongest thing going for this movie is just the whole ensemble, the whole cast, all the characters. Some of them are wacky, some of them are a bit more grounded. I really like Ben Stiller in this. Gwyneth Paltrow and Luke Wilson also put in some great performances as well. Just everybody did a really great job in this movie. I just don't have any strong feelings towards it, that's why it's kind of in like this middle section, but it's still a very quality movie. At number 25, we have John Wick. I watched John Wick for the first time last month, and I was not disappointed. It's a very simple movie, like surprisingly simple. They get more complex in the sequels. They attack John Wick and his dog. He gets revenge. Boom, that's your movie. Nothing really too complicated. I didn't even know Willem Dafoe was here, so that was a nice surprise seeing him. Just a very solid action movie. At number 24, we have Hatchet, the first movie in the Hatchet franchise. First time seeing Victor Crowley. Kane Hodder does great as him. Love Kane Hodder playing Jason, and we get this awesome big man, monstrous feel performance from him again. Those were a lot of words. But yeah, Hatchet, a lot of fun. Characters, some could be annoying, some could be a little bland, but for the most part, they're all somewhat likable and kind of funny. They all have their moments. It's just a very solid slasher movie, and the kills are amazing. Some of the best kills I've seen in any horror movie, and they just keep getting crazier as the franchise goes on. No slouch. Really cool slasher, so go check it out. At number 23, we have Hitman. I believe this movie came out earlier this year. I did not expect to like this as much as I did. My friend had it on. I watched and I was like, this is probably going to be okay at best. I'm not a super big rom-com guy. Hitman was pretty fun. My main complaint is just the ending felt like out of nowhere. Like it was a cool moment to end on, but I thought they were gonna... So if my main complaint is just wanting more from the movie, like more like stuff to happen, I feel like that's honestly a good thing, meaning I was invested and I wanted... You know, I could have had 20 extra minutes to play with. Very solid rom-com and, just, you know, fun. It's pretty fun. At number 22, we have Fight Club. Another big popular movie that I watched for the first time. Some of you might think it's a little low. Yeah, about the halfway point here at number 22. Edward Norton, Brad Pitt, they absolutely kill it in this. The twist that's revealed at the end of the movie, very solid. Didn't really see it coming. It's kind of like an uncut gem situation where I feel like this is a one and done watch. While I really did like the movie, this might seem a little nitpicky, but my main complaint really is the old ass house that they live in. Brad Pitt, Edward Norton, they're living in this abandoned house. Nothing works, like the power barely works. They're like brushing their teeth and washing their face, probably with this nasty ass water, I'm sure. This house is just disgusting, and we spend a good portion of the movie there. It's like, you know, it's just kind of nasty, and I know that's not the main focus. This movie just has like a very grimy feeling to it, and I don't really care for that in my movies. Like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, absolute horror classic, but it just feels so hot and sweaty, like watching that damn movie, that it's not one of my personal favorites, even though, you know, it's iconic. So same thing can be said for Fight Club. Love the story. It's just that I think one watch is enough for me. At number 21, above Fight Club, is Kung Fu Panda 3. Kung Fu Panda 3 really surprised me. Something in my head was saying Kung Fu Panda 3 and 4 are probably gonna be pretty weak, while this one, not as good as 1 and 2, still had a lot of fun to be had. Mr. Ping and Poe's dad, love those characters so much. I want a movie just with those two. They were like the highlight of the movie for me. Also, J.K. Simmons is back again. He's the main bad guy in this, just like Whiplash. He's like a bull thing. A yak? What the hell is he again? I don't know. A ram? He's some kind of big old beast, and he's stealing all the Kung Fu warriors' chi, and he's turning them into these green crystal like minions, and they're fighting Poe like the Furious Five, except for Tigress, I believe. They're fighting Poe at the end. Also, Poe's reunited with his dad and all of his panda, like, brethren. So, you know, pretty wholesome, too. At number 20, we have In a Violent Nature. I really, really wanted to like this. I wanted this to be, honestly, top 5. But, you know, in reality, it is just a very solid movie. It's interesting. The more I've let it sit with me, the more the movie's growing on me. It's a really, like, just interesting and kind of silly movie. Now, obviously, the kills, they're fantastic in this. Like just 1 or 2 kills in there are like all-timers for me personally. While it can be really slow, and yeah, I mean, it's not even that long. It's like an hour and 30 minutes. Just something about it. I feel like it could move a little bit higher up, but when I like think about it more, rewatchability, like I said, is a big factor in how I like, I guess, rate movies or how I think back about movies. I don't know how often I could rewatch In a Violent Nature. If I ever get the chance to watch again, I probably will. Honestly, throw it on my TV over here while I'm sleeping. Nice ASMR slasher kills to fall asleep to. Just walking in the woods, very peaceful, but also not peaceful. I have a few problems with it, but overall it's a pretty fun time. At number 19, we have John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. There is a whole lot of action in this one. There is maybe like 30% talking and story stuff, but the other 70%, constant fighting, long fight scenes, especially one at the end. They're in this giant glass room. There's so much glass breaking in this movie. If you looked up action-packed, John Wick Chapter 3 is right there, staring you in the face in the dictionary. This movie kicks ass. Not a strong story, and when I watched it, I was a bit tired. I watched this at like noon. I don't know why I was so sleepy. I wasn't dozing off, but I was, falling in and out of interest. But just so much cool action in this. Like, what more could you want from a John Wick movie? At number 18, we have Drive. This movie is beautiful. Ryan Gosling is beautiful. The main thing I want to get out of the way before I get into the positives, I just thought I would like it more. A lot of people have hyped this movie up, and while I think it is really good, it didn't hit the level that I thought it would. Which again, just like, this is all opinions. It's just a me thing. I didn't expect to get emotionally attached to, like, his neighbor's family. Ryan Gosling, he's falling for his lady neighbor, but her husband, he's gonna be mad at Ryan Gosling for kind of, being nice to his girl. Ryan helps, I don't know why, I forgot his actual name in the movie, but Ryan Gosling helps him out, but then something goes wrong, and I was actually, like, taken aback by, I was like, oh no, oh no, I was legitimately feeling a bit worried and sad. So any movie that could pull a little emotion out of me is cool. Just like I said, didn't really reach the highs I wanted it to, but it's still pretty good. At number 17, we have Anatomy of a Fall. Messi the dog actor, everybody praise that performance. Deserved. Very, very good dog. Fantastic. Now, if I'm gonna be honest, I am not a big subtitles person. I was like, ooh, it's like 50% English, like 50% French. Sure, why not? Honestly, subtitles will make me more invested because I have to actually like read in order to pay attention to what's going on. This movie, a great example of that. The performances in this are amazing. It's a courtroom drama, did she kill her husband? Did she not? That shaved head, that jackass dude, I don't know what the law term is he like the defendant or whatever the hell? Either way, he's being aggressive the whole time. I hate his guts, so he did a great job, the actor. This movie was so damn interesting. I was like hooked on everything I was reading / hearing. At number 16, we have Bad Boys for Life. About a 15-year time jump from Bad Boys 2. I was gonna go see Bad Boys Ride or Die in theaters. Part of catching up on the Bad Boys lore, I had to watch Bad Boys for Life. What a fun movie. Martin Lawrence, Will Smith. I love Martin Lawrence's character Marcus in all 4 movies. Will Smith as Mike can be hit or miss because he's kind of very stubborn, which I know that's his character, but sometimes he can get on your damn nerves, but he was cool in this one too. The very start of this movie was so damn shocking. I was not expecting that to be what kicks off the movie. I don't really want to spoil anything. One of my favorite characters in the franchise gets killed. Some of these other franchises, like Hatchet, for example, I did not expect to get emotionally attached to any of the characters, but when the person gets sniped, I'm like, son of a bitch. If I wasn't sitting down, it would have brought me to my knees. You can't go wrong with any of the Bad Boys movies, as you'll see towards the top of this list. Bad Boys for Life is super fun. I don't really have any notes about it. It wasn't as good as Bad Boys 2. That's my big complaint. Wasn't as good as Bad Boys 2. At number 15, we have Psycho Gorman. This movie, gonna get out of the way now, some of it can be cringe, but that's just because our main characters are kids, and kids are gonna be kids. I can't be like, wow, you're doing kid stuff? Effing cringe, dude. You ruined the movie. At the end, they do sing a song that is not very good and kind of stupid, but that's probably the point. That is really the only little chunk that I dislike about this movie. Everything else is pretty fun. The kills, hell yeah. Psycho Gorman has a lot of funny lines. Even the kids in this as well. The lead girl, she's pretty funny for the most part. A great blend of comedy and horror. When I say horror, I don't really mean like scary, but there are a lot of like weird creatures and aliens and monsters. A lot of great kills, a lot of like blood splatters and whatnot. There's a couple people that have a warrior's death, which is Psycho Gorman unhinges his jaw, huge ass mouth, and he just like gobbles that sucker up. You can't go wrong with Psycho Gorman. If you don't like kids in your movies being a little cringe, you might not like it, but Psycho Gorman's a lot of fun. Number 14, we have Late Night with the Devil. Speaking of some more horror fun, this is well put together. Late night talk show gone wrong. They bring on a possessed girl and shit goes crazy. Everything about this works, and I know, before I get too ahead of myself, I know the main fuss from a lot of people is like, they used AI for the little cutaways. Why do that? I'm sure it wouldn't have been too hard to pay an extra couple bucks for someone to make it a little better. Shame on you for being stupid, and why? Again, why? It's still a great movie. A lot of fun. Lily is genuinely terrifying when she is staring directly at the camera. Genuine, like, slight chills. Every time she turned her head, like, what camera should I look at? I'm sitting there being like, nope, don't like this. Shit's going down. I do not like this. Honestly, I would say this could be a perfect movie, but obviously the use of AI gonna dock it a couple points, and the ending isn't too strong. It still is an alright ending, but yeah, AI and ending aside, great freaking movie. If it weren't for those two things, I could consider this perfect. At number 13, we have The Ides of March. Ryan Gosling, George Clooney, one-on-one. Not really, they're mainly against each other towards the end, but also not really. They kind of are, though. This has a lot of politics in it. Not a big political person, but very, very entertaining ride. I was hooked on everything that was going down. There's a big reveal between Ryan Gosling and a girl he is crushing on, and when that secret that she's hiding comes up, it's like, ooh, okay, I'm more invested than I was like 10 minutes ago, which I already was. And then there's one scene where Ryan Gosling, he calls George Clooney, and if you watch the movie, or if you have seen the movie, you'll know what scene I'm talking about and why him calling George Clooney while he's up on TV is so damn cool. He gets a call from the girl's phone, and then he's like, huh? Why is she calling me? And then he sees Ryan Gosling just standing there, like, holding the phone. He's just staring at him. I don't want to throw around the words peak cinema, but holy hell, that was cool. At number 12, we have Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping. I watched Hot Rod last month, and that is one of the best comedies I have seen pretty much ever. So I wanted to see another Andy Samberg and the Lonely Island kind of like group project. This one has a lot of songs in it, and they're all pretty damn catchy. I'm not a fan of like dick joke humor, and there is quite a bit of that in this movie, but it's up this high, and that just goes to show you how damn catchy all these songs are. The cast is super funny in this. Tim Meadows is in there, Sarah Silverman is in there. Andy Samberg kills it as this like wannabe pop star boy. He is the perfect douchebag in this movie. It's shot like a documentary in a way, so you have like interviews from all these people in the music industry, and it's just so funny. While it's not as good as Hot Rod, which, you know, I don't think any movie could be as good as Hot Rod, it is still up there for sure. And also, thank you for making Finest Girl, the Bin Laden song, stuck in my head for the past 2 or 3 weeks. At number 11, we have the Lego Batman movie. This wasn't really a movie I was planning on watching, just I've seen some clips on Twitter, and, you know, what could be so bad about it? So I put it on just for a why not kind of watch. This movie is so damn funny. Every, like, Lego character in there, all the DC villains and characters showing up, it's just a nice movie. Sometimes you just need a movie like this to break up all your horror movies and super, like, dramatic action movies or whatever. The Lego Batman was a nice break from some of the other stuff I was watching. Also, the casting for this, Will Arnett as Batman, hell yeah. Michael Cera as Robin, that is like pretty much perfect, I think. And Zach Galifianakis as Joker. Didn't think his Joker would be too great, but he proved me wrong. He proved me wrong. I thought it was gonna be like basic Joker, but it was pretty good. There's one scene where Alfred demands that Bruce or Batman go and socialize, and Will Arnett is doing the funniest, like, no, like he is just throwing a fit.
We're going to have a great time.
No.
You might meet some new people.
No.
And even make some new friends.
No.
One of the funniest little bits I've seen in any movie the past month. Surprisingly better than I thought it was going to be. Just a good time. And now we have reached the top 10. So here we go. At number 10, we have John Wick Chapter 2. So far, the best John Wick movie in my opinion. I haven't seen 4 yet, but I will pretty soon. John Wick Chapter 2 has a great mix of action and storytelling. The first one, very simple, cool action, alright story. The third one, decent story because of the results of John Wick 2, but a lot of great action. This is the perfect, like, middle child. This is the perfect blend. I was enjoying the hell out of this movie, and towards the end, the giant, like, John Wick just saying screw it moment just caught me so off guard because there are rules of the Continental, and John Wick says, don't care, I'm taking out the trash. And hell yeah, cool stuff all around. John Wick 2, A lot of fun. Also, the way this movie bleeds perfectly into John Wick 3, like you could watch this back to back as like a perfect double feature right there. So cool. It sets up another movie pretty much perfectly. Plus, Lawrence Fishburne is obsessed with like carrier pigeons, sending messages across the city. And that's fun. At number 9, we have Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. I got to see Furiosa in theaters, and this movie is beautiful, great revenge movie. We get to see the upbringing of Furiosa, how she was kidnapped, and she's on her revenge tour. This movie has a similar complaint to Bad Boys for Life, where I don't really have any complaints, just wasn't as good as the movie that came before it. But Mad Max Fury Road, it's gonna be really tough to top that movie. But Furiosa comes close. Anya Taylor-Joy is fantastic. Chris Hemsworth is like really good as a bad guy. There's also some more crazy ass action going down. Some gliders hanging off the back of cars, and they're throwing like bombs at one another. Just the action in the Mad Max movies are so damn cool. And I'm glad I got to see this in theaters. However, when I was watching this in theaters, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was because it was the first showing of the day, 11 a.m. I kind of kept drifting out of interest, but it would quickly suck me back in. So I kind of want to rewatch it with, like, wide awake, full attention towards the movie. It'll probably go up a couple spots, that's for damn sure. At number 8, we have Hatchet 3. Hatchet 3 not only is the best movie, in my opinion, in the Hatchet franchise, it is just a very good horror movie. It has a nice blend of Hatchet 1 and 2, which I enjoyed those movies quite a bit. And Danielle Harris is back. Love Mary Beth. She's become one of my favorite final girls in horror. And although she's not in it a whole bunch, she's still featured a decent amount. All the new characters we're introduced to, except for maybe like 1 or 2, pretty solid. A lot of great horror cameos. Jason from the 2009 Friday the 13th movie, he's in there. Sid Haig is in there from House of a Thousand Corpses. And there are probably like 3 or 4 other cameos that I'm just not listing off. Go check out the Hatchet ranking video. That's like the 3rd or 4th time I've said it. Great horror movie. Great kills. There's even like a killing spree in the middle of the movie, and it's just so damn cool. One guy is like shooting, and Victor Crowley hoists him up by his gun and just like just flips him over. Really cool stuff. At number 7, we have Bullet Train. I love me some crazy stuff happening in a single location. Brad Pitt is on a bullet train. There are so many moving pieces in this movie. Bad Bunny's there. Just everybody fighting one another. Stories like interweaving with one another. Things are just going crazy on this bullet train. So much fun. There's even like a venomous snake. While there is a lot of like explaining some backstory stuff that kind of takes me out of it, for the most part, this is just a lot of fun. And I cannot forget to mention Lemon and Tangerine, one of the best movie duos I have seen probably since Bad Boys. At number 6, we have Happy Gilmore. I actually just watched this just the other night. It was my last movie I watched in June. And I'm a big Adam Sandler guy. Billy Madison, my favorite movie of all time. I feel like more people like this better, and I think it's considered more of a classic, I guess. While right away, I'm just gonna say it was not nearly as good as Billy Madison, but then again, it's my all-time favorite, so it's gonna be really hard to be even close to Billy Madison. A very great, very funny Adam Sandler performance. This is exactly what you want from a classic Adam Sandler movie. I think I pretty much got everything I wanted out of this movie, and the more I watch it, because I definitely I'm gonna rewatch this movie a bunch probably, I can see it quickly becoming one of my favorites of all time. It's top 5 time, baby. Let's go! The top 5 movies I watched last month. Here we go. At number 5, we have Silent Hill. I have been wanting to watch the Silent Hill movie for a while. I know nothing about the games. I have played Dead by Daylight, so I know Pyramid Head is there. He's not really a main focus in the movie, but he's there, so I was like, haha, Dead by Daylight, haha. Also, the Midwich Elementary School, I believe it's called, that's also in Dead by Daylight, so cool. But this movie absolutely destroyed my expectations. I thought it was gonna be like a 3-star, like average, interesting video game movie. I thought it was gonna be a bit maybe like on the cheesy side, like, oh, this is fine. Like, it came out in 2005 or 2006, mid-2000s horror, really hit or miss. Based off of, like, source material, again, could be hit or miss. Maybe it's because I didn't play any of the games, and that's why this movie really worked for me. I don't know how the Silent Hill fans feel about this movie, but I absolutely loved it. I'm not the biggest fan of, like, cult/religious antagonists or whatever. It's kind of, I've seen it 100 times before. The religious, like, cult group that they got going on in this, very commanding, like, their leader. They are so damn nasty and vicious. I don't even have all my thoughts together about this movie. It's just everything that they tried to do, in my opinion, really, really worked. I think the only thing that's a bit of like a for me is the ending, but still thought it was like a nice little like, ooh, spooky little ending. But everything, I watched this early in the month, so I'm forgetting a lot, but I still have the feeling inside of me. Silent Hill was a blast. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's on something. Every time I want to watch it, it leaves the streaming service. I see it on, so after months of waiting, I finally got the chance to watch it, and I was not disappointed. I loved Silent Hill so much. At number 4, we have They Came Together, a very comedic, romantic movie, basically a Hallmark movie on steroids. Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler coming together to make fun kind of like rom-com stereotypes. I adore Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler so much, and seeing them be the two main like love interests in this rom-com, fantastic. Also, they're having dinner with Bill Hader and Ellie Kemper. I love those two as well. Everything in this movie is so damn funny. This might be the best rom-com, and it's there to pretty much make fun or very much exaggerate rom-coms. And that's probably why it works, since I said earlier for Hitman, not a big rom-com guy, but this, They Came Together, is so damn fun. It's really short too, the whole way through. Smile on my face, never left. There are so many like quotes and moments, like Paul Rudd pulling a cheeseburger out behind Amy Poehler's son's ear, and you're like, wow, a cheeseburger, and Amy's just like, alright, go eat that in bed. It's just like, the like dumbest little things, they work. They work so well. God, I might have to move this up to number 3, but then I'll have to re-record all this, so I'm not. At number 3, we have Bad Boys Ride or Die. Probably the biggest surprise for me. I like the Bad Boys movies. I saw Bad Boys Ride or Die in theaters. Thought it was going to be just as solid as the others. But holy hell, this is like peak action comedy. Martin Lawrence, again, kills it. Will Smith, again, kills it. His character is a touch more on the likable side this time around. He's dealing with like panic attacks, so it's like, alright, let's see how this big macho guy is dealing with his stress and all that. There is pretty much everything in this movie. Reba McEntire mentioned at the end, there is now Bino Alligator. What the hell? But sure. Also, Team Ammo is back, whatever they were called in like Bad Boys 3. The new characters are really fun too. I love this movie. Seeing it in theaters is amazing. If I watched it at home or on my computer or something like that, probably would have still enjoyed it, but in theaters, hell yeah, this thing is probably still out in theaters. So, not an ad, obviously. But go watch Bad Boys Ride or Die. Go watch all the Bad Boys movies, then go to theaters, watch Bad Boys Ride or Die. This thing is so much fun. This is a summer blockbuster. At number 2, we have Lars and the Real Girl. Lars and the Real Girl, another huge surprise. This is more of like an indie movie, and I saw some people like kind of praising it a little bit. Just, it feels like it's a bit under the radar, because I don't hear about it whatsoever. So I'm like, Ryan Gosling, indie film, 2007. The premise is kind of funny, because he gets like a sex doll, but he is convinced that she is real. This movie made me tear up. No way in hell would I have ever thought a movie about this guy in love with a plastic fake woman doll bring me almost to tears. I wasn't full-blown crying, but I was tearing up. There's a scene where this girl that likes him at where he works, this kind of idiot co-worker, ties a noose around her teddy bear, and she's like, I know it's stupid, but and he is giving CPR to the little teddy bear, bro. Holy shit, it's so good. It is so good. Lars and the Real Girl. This might be number 1, but the movie I have at number 1 was mind-blowingly good. Lars and the Real Girl. If you have not seen it, I believe it's on Tubi. You got to go and watch Lars and the Real Girl. It is so damn good. Also, Brandanowitz from Parks and Rec, he's in there. Underrated performance. His facial acting, like just, even when he's not saying anything, he's just like reacting to stuff. He is so damn good in this. Like, I liked him in Parks and Rec, but he is so damn good in this movie. I love this movie so much. It is heartbreaking. It is silly. It is stupid. It is just, it hits every emotion. At number 1, we have Stop Motion. This horror movie came out, I believe, at like a film festival last year, but it had a little run in theaters earlier this year in 2024. I am making a note of it right now. This is probably going to be my favorite horror movie of the year. I love stop motion. I did it when I was a bit younger. This movie is, God, it's mind-blowing. It's a bit slow, a bit quiet. Some people called it simple, which maybe I'm just an idiot, but I was like, what's gonna happen next? What the hell's gonna happen next? I was just waiting for the next thing to happen. Each part in this movie works so well for me. I'm not a fan of like haunted little girls or whatever, but there's this little girl that's hanging around our main character, and she's freaky, but also very nice, but also very controlling. Just also, shoo, little girl, let the woman work. I think the reason this is number one for me is just my love of stop motion. Also, in horror movies, if you have anything stop motion, or just movies in general, like, that art form is so cool, because I know how long it takes to make something move so smoothly just by picture by picture by picture. Stop motion is so good. The end is so fantastic. It's honestly a bit disgusting in some parts, because for the stop motion figures, they're like, don't use that clay stuff. It's supposed to be fleshy, right? Use this dead freaking fox. Use this raw chicken or whatever the hell. And it just keeps escalating. And the Ash Man, freaky as hell. This movie is so fantastic. Stop motion, I knew instantly, top 10 freaking movie. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I might cave in and actually just buy the damn movie itself. That way I'll have it forever and ever. This movie fucking kicks ass. And there you have it. I went on I guess a positive rant there at the end. There's my top 5. Not as strong as a top 5 as last month. I believe it was like the Now You See Me movies, Beetlejuice, Mad Max, and Hot Rod. This had some decent stuff. Silent Hill and They Came Together, surprisingly fantastic. Lars and the Real Girl, very emotional. Bad Boys Ride or Die, very fun. Stop motion, fantastic. So honestly, this might be tied with May's top 5 movies. So I'm getting good finds. I haven't really seen too many movies that I would consider not great, just a handful. So stay tuned for July's Everything I Watched ranked from worst to best. But in the middle of all these videos, I post movie reviews. I post trailer reactions if things come up, like Nosferatu, reacted to that trailer. It was pretty good. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on whatever video is next. Okay, goodbye.